Tonight, I want to discuss something. The name of this particular sutra is called Tirokudda. I have seen the recorded tape there, I think in Chinese. The explanations were given. The name of the sutra is written there, Tirokutta, not Kutta. Kutta no meaning. Kudda, double D-A. Kudda means wall. Tirokudda means behind the wall, beyond. The name of this sutra is called Beyond the Wall or Behind the Wall. Wall. Who are they? Those who stay behind the wall. Who are they? Your friends. Spirit and ghost. They don't come inside the house, always stay outside. But they can disturb, influence. We maintain some sort of belief as traditional belief, but we do not know actually what the Buddha said about this. Whether he acknowledged or accepted those so-called spirit and ghost. So when you read this particular discourse given by the Buddha, you can understand his views. Tirokudda, it is also in Khuddaka Nikaya, Sutra Pitaka. In Khuddaka Nikaya there are 15 books. Dhammapada is one of them. Dhammapada, Jataka, Udana, Itiruttaka, Abhuta Dhamma, Vedalla, 15 books in one particular Nikaya. Tirokuddhesu tittanti sandhi singhatakesu ca dwara bahasu tittanti agantana sakangvaran. Now here the Buddha says how they behave. Those departed who were born as a spirit form or ghost. The belief that some people maintain existence of a spirit form is an intermediate state. It is wrong. It is not an intermediate state. Rebirth has already taken place, and they may spend either for a short period or long period according to their own karma. Maybe few days or 1 week or 1 month, if not few hundred years. Nobody knows. Those who have developed their selfish attachment towards their properties, very strong craving, if they die with that attachment and craving towards their property, if they haven't got enough good karma to be born as human beings or devas, this is their fate because of that craving. We always mention this. While we are living here, we can accumulate property, we can experience pleasure, we can enjoy our life harmless way, but when you grow old, we must reduce our attachment, our craving, our selfishness towards the property that we have accumulated. If we do that, what will happen? Our fate or our destiny will be in danger. I do not know whether you can remember this story that I have told you long ago. This happened in England. There was a rest house in countryside, a small rest house. A visitor who wanted to go and stay in that rest house refused by the authorities. They say, we have only one room. We don't like to open this room because it is dangerous. We have our own experience. Many people who slept in this room had difficulties, so we don't want to take the risk. But this man is a very brave, very intelligent man. He said, don't worry, I am not scared of any disturbances. I will take the risk, you better open the door. Then they say, it is up to you. So they opened the door and they told him what happened actually. While sleeping at midnight, somebody came and disturbed. Then this man said, I like it very much. I want to see who this person is. He was very happy. So without any fear, he went to sleep, switched off the light also. When he was sleeping, he felt that somebody come and start pulling his leg. So he was very happy. He was waiting for that, to see the fun. Then he shouted, yes, what do you want? He raised his voice and asked, what do you want? And then he heard a voice, I want my money. He heard this voice. He got up, switched on the light, there's nobody. Then he knew there must be something here. He went on searching everywhere in this room to find out whether there's any mark. He suspected a small area. He knew there must be something here. He went out and found out some sort of chanko, low iron rod, and started digging. After digging, he found out a small metal box. He opened it, money. But he knew the secret. He closed it and threw it through the windows. Again he closed the doors and windows, switched off the light, went to sleep. He did not tell anybody actually what happened. Next day morning, he revealed what happened actually last night. Then the owners of this rest house told him there was a moneylender in this room. And he buried this money, nobody knew. He died in this room. So before his death, that craving toward his property was bothering him. He died while he was maintaining that craving toward his property. So what happened? He was born as a spirit or a ghost in the same area. So now, he doesn't want others to enter into this room because of jealousy and greed. This is a real story, not during the Buddha's time, only about 20 to 30 years ago, what happened in England, where many people do not believe this kind of thing. I read this in a magazine which is published in England. And that is what the Buddha is trying to explain. So this can clarify certain misconceptions or certain misunderstanding that we maintain about our departed ones. He says, Tiro kuddhesu tittanti sandhi singhapakesu ca dwarabahasu tittanti agantwana sakangvaran. Agantwana sakangvaran, returning to their own home because of their attachment, craving that they had. Rebirth take place in spirit form or ghost. I have already explained there are 4 groups among those spirits. I think better to repeat. Nijjhamatannika, Kuppipasika, Pansupisachika, Paradattopajivi. 4 groups amongst those spirits and ghosts. You know only one group, your hungry ghost. They have gone back, isn't it? No more here, isn't it? Then you are okay. Nijjhamatanhika, one group. Throughout their life, as long as they exist on that spirit form, they suffer, they feel hunger and thirst. There is nobody in this world who can quench or satisfy their thirst or hunger. Whatever you offer, you cannot satisfy their thirst and hunger. It's due to certain bad karmas. But there is a time limit. After that, another rebirth takes place. This is one group. Nijjhamatannika, another group, experience burning sensation, the whole body, burning and burning and burning. There's a story, one day, Moggallana, the chief disciple of the Buddha, when he was going out, he saw one of these spirit. Actually, according to his explanation, the flame, the fire also come out from the body, burning and burning. He stopped going out for Pindapata, so what he did, started to pour water by taking the water from the river. Still, he could not satisfy. This is the nature of their karma. Burning sensation, as long as they exist. And the other group is called Pansupisachaka. Those who live in dirty, filthy areas, such as dirty drains or lavatories and certain other places, and they live on those dirts and ugly and filthy things. That is the nature of that unfortunate life. The 4th group is called Paradattopajivi. So we are trying to communicate, support only this particular group, because we cannot release the other 3 groups. We have no authority or jurisdictions or power to do that because of their karma. But this particular group, by transferring merit, Paradatta Upajivi, depending on others' merits, they are waiting to receive the support from us. Who are these people? Those who have committed very bad sins or bad karmas, will be born either in hell or ghost or animal kingdom to suffer. Not in spirit form. Those who have accumulated enough merits will be born either as human beings or devas or brahmas. But there are many who do not commit bad karmas, who do not accumulate good karmas. Just live, work, earn something, enjoy their life and die. So when you compare their way of life with animals, there is not much difference. As human beings, we have to cultivate, we have to develop certain humane qualities and virtues, knowledge and understanding to be born as human beings again. Otherwise we miss it. Now you are trying to know more, to enrich your knowledge and understanding. And then you are also trying to adjust, to correct your way of life by knowing that there are weaknesses and bad habits and certain things which are not favorable. By learning, we are trying to cultivate your way of life. And such people have hopes and confidence for their future because they are cultivating. But how many millions and millions of others or billions of others live as human beings? Manushya rupena mriga charanti, ancient saying. The forms of human beings, animals are running here and there. They are not real human beings. Look like humans, only two-legged. But their behavior, way of life, everything, animal, if not worse than animal. So they have no chance to be born as human beings again. Remember, Kicho manusya patilabho is Dhammapada, the Buddha says. The most difficult thing in this world is to become a human being when you compare with other living beings in this world. It's not an easy task, becoming a human being. After gaining this golden opportunity, if we neglect, what will happen? Again we drop. Now this is the uncertainty of our life. To climb the top of a rock or the mountain or Himalaya, Everest, we had to take enormous pains and trouble, even at the risk of our life, to reach the top. But after reaching there, if we neglect even one step, very easy for us to fall down, come down. Exactly like this. If we neglect our human way of life, human dignity, human intelligence, again fall down. So the Dhamma or the Dharma is to hold us, to support. The meaning of this word, dharma. Dharma means hold. If we follow this Dhamma, the Dhamma hold us without allowing us to get into one of these unfortunate states. That is the meaning of Dhamma. Remember this meaning. It is more meaningful than religion. Religion is not a very meaningful word to us. Dharma is the meaningful word. The method that will support us, hold, if we follow this method. After that, never go to hell, after our death. Never become animal, never become a spirit or ghost, and never go mad or even crippled or blind, because we follow the Dhamma. So Dhamma is for us to uphold, to maintain our human dignity. Then life is not in danger. Nothing to worry about spirit or ghost. So after their death, if they were born in spirit form, because of their attachment towards their property or anything, again come back. And influence, disturb, create very bad atmosphere. Sicknesses, misfortune, disturbances. Many people experience this. You believe that only 49 days, isn't it? 49 days the departed spirit will come back. It is a traditional belief, not a religious belief. As your tradition, you maintain this belief. But there is no time limit for that. Immediately after his or her death also can come back. There is no any particular period for them to come back. That is the meaning of the first stanza. So it is true that certain spirit, not everybody, due to their different karmas, bad karmas, rebirth will take place in the spirit form. Only this particular group who have developed their strong selfish attachment towards their property come back. And they are jealous. They don't want others to make use of the property. That is why they come and disturb. We know, among those three kinds of craving that we have, Kama-tanha, Bhava-tanha, Vibhava-tanha. Vibhava-tanha, we always explain in this way, craving for non-existent. Committing suicide is under this. Again, those who maintain such belief that they don't want to be born again. They got fed up with this way of life, so they strongly pray and hope not to have another rebirth. But this is only a belief, it doesn't work. It is a wrong belief. If you think that you don't like to have another birth, it doesn't work. Because you have craving for pleasure, craving for existence, craving for many things. Therefore rebirth naturally takes place, whether you believe or not. Then, craving for, this is a very dangerous thing. See the danger of craving. Destructive craving. Our craving is so deep, we don't want others to make use of the thing that we have accumulated. We destroy them. There are many who do that. We burn them. They cannot tolerate when others come and use. See the danger, poisonous danger of this craving. So these spirits which have developed this selfish craving without allowing others to use. In Sigalovada Sutta, the Buddha has given this advice to a parent. When the proper time comes, when their children are old means attain certain ages, it is your duty to transfer to hand over your property towards them without holding until you die. This warning was given by the Buddha by knowing their life will be in danger if they hold their property until they die. Because they had to release their burdens and responsibilities. After that, mind becomes very free. Then very easily they can recall the meritorious or religious deeds that they have done. They can devote their time peacefully without maintaining worries for religious activity, for their future, for the next life. Renunciation is important in that respect. If not, the destiny of our life will be in danger. Next one. Pahute anna panam hi khadya bodhye upathite nate sankoti sarati sattamha khammapacchaya. So what will happen? Although they are in spirit form, still they have craving towards our food that they had when they were human beings. Although they cannot eat, they cannot enjoy our food, they develop this craving towards our food. But the relatives who have forgotten them, neglected them, never offer, never remember those departed ones, then they suffer more. What will happen? Although it is not in the Buddha's teaching, the belief is such. When we offer some food in the name of our departed relatives, although they do not come and eat, the belief is such that they enjoy having seen, although they get some sort of aroma for them to experience, gain some sort of satisfaction. That is why they offer some food. We can say it is un-Buddhistic, but even in Buddhist countries, they have been doing this. You can go to Sri Lanka, Burma, even in Thailand. They allocate little bit food and keep separately. Is for our departed ones. This is a very strong belief. But the Buddha did not say directly that we must offer, but for our own satisfaction. When the Buddha passed away, they had to keep the body for 7 days. Ananda, who attended to the Buddha, every morning he prepared hot water and toothbrush. That means the Buddha had teeth up to the last moment, although he was 80 years old. Toothbrush, hot water and whatever available thing. Every morning he go and offer for his own satisfaction. So when we offer something in the name of our departed one, we gain some sort of satisfaction, thinking that we have done our duties toward them in a worldly way. On the other hand, those departed ones also, although they cannot eat just like human beings or animals, they gain some sort of satisfaction. That is the meaning. Then Evam dadanti jnatinam ye unti anukampaka suchim panitam kalena kappiyam pana bhojanam. Those who are accompanied, therefore, remember their departed ones, those relatives. Don't forget them. Relatives make offering, such as almsgiving in their name. And this is the method introduced by the Buddha. The Buddha says they will be benefited more offering alms to others in the name of the departed one instead of offering food directly towards them. The merits that they gain by offering alms or food or anything, directly they can transfer the merits they are departed one. The food that we offer, assume they gain some sort of satisfaction just only for 1 minute or for 1 day. So we can release their suffering by offering food. But when we transfer the merits, they get the chance to get rid of their unfortunate states, suffering. Now you see the difference now. Why it is necessary to do some meritorious deeds and transfer the merits instead of offering food directly towards them. Dhango jnati nang hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo dete tattha samaganta jnati peta samagata. So after performing these meritorious deeds, we recite, if not, we create this idea in our mind. So when we recite, sound vibration and mental vibration, two vibrations work. That is why we recite this. Idam me jnati nang hotu. May they receive the merits that we accrued by performing this religious service or meritorious deed. Sukhita hontu jnatayo, and may they be well and happy. May they satisfy with their life. May they be free from suffering. This is our prayer. So we create this determination and utter this word, create sound vibration, and these vibrations reach, they absorb. It is like this. When a person attunes a transistor radio to catch one particular wavelength, either medium or short wave, that person can catch that wavelength. In the same manner, those departed spirits are waiting, attune their receiving set in their mind. So when we transmitted this vibration, mental and sound vibration, because many people do not know the real significance of this religious belief. They say it's only traditional practices. They are very significant and meaningful. They receive. When they receive this the message, they gain wonderful happiness, satisfaction. Then what will happen? Their existence in that particular spirit form is just like a motor car. So landed somewhere in the federal highway without petrol. Just remain there. By transferring merits, what we do, we pour more petrol into the tank, oil tank. Then they start the engine and again continue their journey. And this is the meaning of transference of merit. Continue their journey means they may get the chance to get rid of this unfortunate state because they have not done very bad karmas. And we support them to recall, to remember certain good karmas that they have done during their lifetime. At the moment, already submerged. They cannot bring forward. That is why they remain there. So when you transfer the merits, the happiness that created in their mind pave the way for them to recall the good karmas. Because each and every person maintain some good karmas also. And then another rebirth take place from there. That is why our support is needed. Next one. Pahuti anna panamhi sakkachang anumodare chiranjivantu nonyati yesang hetu labhamase. After receiving your merits, what they say? In return, out of gratitude, they say, although you cannot hear, thus remember, we feel very happy. Our relatives remembered us, not forgotten. May they be well and happy. In return, they also bless you, wish you good luck out of gratitude. When they feel the relief of their suffering through our support. Next one. Ammaha kancha kata puja dayaka cha anitpala nahitatsa kasi athi gorakhetva navijyati. They will say, for honor to us has been done. The givers will enjoy the fruit, that means result, karmic result. We are benefited, and again you are also benefited by performing this religious service. Both. For there is never plowing there, no any cattle herding found. That means there is nothing for them to do in that particular spirit form or spirit world. No cultivation, no business, no money, no gold, no silver, no fruits, no food. Just like staying in a desert. That is why they need our merits. Then, vanijjatadis inathi hiranyena kayakayang ito dinnena yapenti petakalagatatai. Since there are no ways and means for them to earn anything for their survival, for their pleasure, ito dinnena yapenti, they depend on our giving. Whatever we offer, whatever we give, in the name of departed one, they receive, they enjoy. Otherwise, as long as they remain in that particular spirit form, they have to suffer. Then what will happen? There are millions of families all over the world where they experience lot of disturbances, sicknesses, troubles, calamities, problems. but they do not know why. They never think that some of those departed ones influence them, disturb them, because these people have not done their duties toward them. When they suffer, they curse. Oh, our relatives, our friends have not done anything for us. They allow us to suffer. So in return, they curse. Then the sicknesses and troubles and problems start. This incident here, I think about 20 years ago, here in Kuala Lumpur. I think many of these newcomers have not heard. That house is there in Maxwell Road. Very big house. They came and reported. The owner was a very rich man. Came and told me, no one can sleep in that house. Whole night. Somebody come and disturb them. Now they are scared. They cannot rent out the house also. They are not Buddhist. They are Christian. Asked whether I can help them. Then I told them I am not expert for all these things. Even then, there is no harm. I can go and do something. I was alone at that time. So I went. One evening, recited Ratana Sutra, only Ratana Sutra, for 3 times, and sprinkled the water inside the house, everywhere. I came back. Next day morning, they came back. Came to see me and told me, what did you do last night? And why? Last night, even the next door, our neighbors also could not sleep. Just like elephants, running around the house. Then I told them, it's a very good sign. Don't worry, very good sign. Next day also I went there. After 1 week, one motor car came and stopped in front of my office. They come down and I saw lot of orange and grapes and banana. I know, very good sign. Not bad. They came to see me with smiling face. They said, from that day onward, no more disturbances. Then I asked, who died? Whether anybody died in that house? They told me, the man who built that house died in the same house. And their mother also died in the same house. So what happened? The strong craving that they had toward this house created that spirit form for them to be born there and disturb others. Don't allow others to come and stay there. It is happening all over the world. Do you know in England, Buckingham Palace, you know how many rooms are closed? They don't want to open. They say haunted rooms. Everybody knows this. Those who do not believe this rebirth and spirit and ghost also experience these disturbances. So we should not say this is only imagination. Yes, we have so many imagination. Next one. Unname udakang vattang yatha ninnang pavattati evameva ito dinnang petanang upakappati. As water showered on the hill flows down to reach the hollow valley. So the merit transferred can serve the merits of the departed kings. When the rains fall on the top of a hill, this water pour down, then go to the valleys, to the rivers and the sea. In the same manner, The merits that we accrue, we transfer to these departed ones. That is why always we use a symbolic, what they call this one, pouring water into a cup. Some people believe without pouring water into a cup we cannot transfer the merits. That is a silly idea. This is only a symbol for people to understand. This is only a symbol for people to understand the significance of transference of merit. So the living relatives are just like this cup of water because we have a lot of merit. The water means merit. And this one is empty. Empty means departed spirit. They haven't got enough merit. So when we pour this water into this, it indicates that we are transferring this merit to those departed spirits. But without any water or any cup, we can transfer the merits. Yet, this example is given by the Buddha. Unname udakang vattang yatha ninnang pavattati. Eva meva ito dinnang petanang upakappati. Exactly like this, the merits also we can transfer just like the water. After that they feel very happy, they can satisfy, they can get rid of their suffering. Again, the belief that some people maintain that we can release those who are in hell goes against the teachings of the Buddha. Of course there are some stories but not in the Buddha's teaching. It is impossible for anyone to release a person who is in hell, who is in animal kingdom, unless they complete their time, their period according to their respective karma. There is a story. People very strongly believe that there is no harm you can believe, that Moggallana has gone to hell and released his mother. But this story is not in the Buddhist Pali Tripitaka, because in the later development literature, Buddhist literature, we can find this. There is no such thing. This goes against the teachings of the Buddha. If anyone says that can go to hell and release those who suffer, in that case, why not you go to Puri jail and release those who are in the jail? It is, there is no justice at all. I think they have mixed up two stories here. Moggallana used to visit heaven and hell and watch how they enjoy their heavenly life, how they suffer their hell life. Come and report to others. I met so-and-so, 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 and I noticed how they suffer because they have committed this and this and that. Again I have seen so-and-so, they have done a lot of merits and this and that, how they enjoy their life. Because of this, more and more people flock and in millions to embrace Buddhism, giving away their former faith. So other religions could not tolerate this. Then they decided to kill Moggallana. So they had a plot and bribe certain gangsters to kill him when he was in a cave. And the other story is Sariputta, the other chief disciple. His mother was a very stubborn old lady. Although the son is the most intelligent and holy arahant, mother did not surrender her religion. Sariputta was thinking what to do now. If I die without fulfilling my duties towards my mother, my mission will be a failure. Because this is also one of the advices given by the Buddha to the children. Last advice. He said, if your parents hold wrong belief, it is your duty to correct them, bring them into the correct path. So Sariputta was thinking what to do now. She is not willing to accept. Very stubborn. So one day, when he was very sick, he went to the mother's house at night time. Then he had diarrhea. Then at midnight, the mother saw some luminous figures enter into the room where Sariputta was sleeping and cleans everything. And the mother was watching. She could not believe actually. They are not human beings. Then she got up and asked, who are these people who came and cleans? Then Sariputta told her, they are the four guardian god, devas. Chatumma, this one, Dhritarashtra, Viruddha, Virupaksha, Vaisravana, four guardian devas. Having seen Sariputta is suffering from and there is nobody to attend, mother is very old, she cannot attend to him. They came and cleans everything. And then this old lady started to think, I worship them, but they come and clean the dirt and they respect my son. And then she decided to change her mind and become the follower of the Buddha, having seen this miracle. And actually, this is a vision, you understand? This is a miracle created by Sariputta to convince the mother. Because he knew by preaching, talking, he is not willing. The Buddha also occasionally performed this kind of miracles to convince people. After that he preached. So, I believe that they have mixed up the Sariputta and Moggallana two stories as one story, and Moggallana went to hell and released his mother. These are the real story you can find in Tripitaka. So, we cannot release animals, even ghosts also we cannot release. And in hell, we cannot do anything unless they come out from that one. Now Devadatta is there in hell, who tried to kill the Buddha, who has done a lot of meritorious deeds. Those merits still remain there. When he come back, he can enjoy again with the good merits. That is the Buddhist attitude toward heaven and hell. No permanent hell, no everlasting heaven. There is a time limit. Then Adasime, Akasime, Nyatimitta, Sakhachame, Petanang, Dakhinang, Dadja, Pubbekata, Manussara. Again they say, those departed spirit, they are very happy now. Do you know that story? King Kosala, Pasenadi Kosala, the same person who had the 16 dreams. Last Friday I explained. He had another peculiar dream. So one day he offered dana, the Buddha and the Sangha. Invited them to the palace and offered dana. The same night the king could not sleep. Disturbances everywhere. He could not understand. Next day, early morning, he went to see the Buddha. Then reported, although I have given dana and gained lot of merits, last night I had a lot of disturbances, not internal, external disturbances. Then the Buddha said, You have not done your duties towards your departed relatives who are waiting to receive the merits. So when they offer dana, they were waiting to receive the merit. You have not done that. They are very unhappy and they disturb you. Next day, again, he invited the Buddha and some other monks and offered dana and transferred the merits to those departed ones. Then he explained, the Buddha, who these relatives, what sort of bad karma they have done, and why they were born in this particular spirit form, he explained. There are many stories. One particular book in Khuddaka Nikaya called Vimanavattu and Pretavattu. In Vimanavattu means explanations of the heavenly life. Pretavattu means explanations of the way of life of pretas or ghost or spirit and unfortunate state. There are two separate books, there are many stories. So adasime akasime jnatimitta sakhachame petanang dakkhinang dadya pubbe tatamanussarang. So our relatives have given us something. At least we can get rid of our worries, our suffering because of their transference of merits, because of their help. Nahirunang sokova echanye paridevana nata petana nataya evan tittanti jnatayo. Again, here the Buddha's advice is this. No weeping, no yet sorrowing, no any kind of mourning. M-O-U-R-N-I, mourning. Help the departed one. I heard some people before they are dead, they ask whether the relatives are going to cry when that person died. They did not ask to employ some people to come and cry. This very funny ideas, some people have. Then by weeping and worrying and mourning. Mourning is a traditional belief. When you are mourning, there is a time limit. You mourn only for a certain period. After that, you laugh. It is artificial. It's not inner feeling, but to show others. Not to show off. To indicate, death has taken place in my house. One of my relatives, close relatives, have passed away. That indicates for others to recognize. Then they do not invite you to attend certain parties to enjoy or merrymaking. That is the meaning behind. There is no religious significance at all in that type of mourning. Then you also remember, when you see something, so there are certain places that you don't like to visit during this mourning period. It is right. And others do not disturb you by inviting to attend various things. So that symbol is important to recall, to understand. Here the Buddha's advice is, worrying and crying and mourning never contribute anything to your departed one. You should not think your departed ones may get angry if you don't cry. If you cry, if your departed ones are very understanding people, they may get angry. Crying is not the indications of your inner feeling, that is real emotional. It is natural. The more you develop your attachment and love and affection towards your departed one, the more you arouse your emotion, human emotion, then you cannot control this. That is why you cry. So laughing and crying, these two things are the expressions of the emotion, negative and positive. No religious significance. Next one, Ayanchako Dakkhina Dinna Sangrammi Suppatittita Dīgarattang Hitayassa Thanaso Upakappati. But when this offering is given to those members of the holy order, then it can serve them long in future and at once as well. By offering alms to the holy order, this is a big question mark. Why can't we feed beggars or poor people, those who suffer without food, instead of offering food to the monk? Why always we invite the monks for almsgiving to gain merit, instead of giving food to those poor people? The answer to this question is, by offering food to any living beings, including animals, we gain merit. This interpretation was given by the Buddha to followers of another religion. When he became a Buddhist, he asked whether he can offer food to his former priest. He had been supporting them for many years. Now I am a Buddhist. I am not a follower of that particular religion. Even then, can I offer food to those religious teachers or priests in that religion? Then the answer given by the Buddha is, there is no reason whatsoever for you to stop. You can continue as usual. You can offer food to anybody, any living beings in this world, even animals. It is a meritorious deed. This is the Buddha's answer. Here, there are three important things for us to gain more merit. If one of them is missing, then we also reduce the degrees of the merits. Ketta, Vattu and Chitta. Three things. First thing, your mind. If your mind is not pure, if you mean to in some sort of anger or grudge or jealousy or some sort of ill feeling, while you are performing this almsgiving, you won't get the merit complete. Reduce. Because the mind is not pure. That is the first thing. Second one, the materials or the food or the money that you use to do this offering must be pure. You can earn by robbing and cheating and bluffing and disturbing and killing others and give alms. you reduce the merit. The food that you use, you buy, by spending your own money, you have to earn by using a righteous or reasonable or decent method, not by adopting any unrighteous or indecent method. That is the second. Third one is field. If you go and throw certain plants, certain seeds on the rock, or when you cultivate paddy without providing enough water and fertilizer, the wrong place, those plants, those paddy won't grow there. The soil must be rich. If the soil is not ready, you won't get enough harvest. In the same way, the persons who receive or whom you invited to offer your food or your gifts, your alms, must have some sort of religious value in them. Those who observe certain religious principles, qualities, sila, these three qualities must be there. Your mind, the food, and those who receive. When all these three things are clear, you gain full merits. Then very easily you can transfer. By offering food here, your idea is to gain merit, to transfer to those departed ones. That is why you choose some religious people offering food to poor and those who are starving without food. Very good. You also gain merit, but not at the same level. Then the next one. So jnati dhammo cha ayan nidassito petana puja cha kata ulara balancha bhikkhuna manuppadinnan tumbhehi punyang pasutang anappaka. By doing this, you have fulfilled so many duties. So jnati dhammo cha ayam nidassito. You have shown a noble example to others by fulfilling your duties towards your departed relatives. To show others, your children, your relatives, your friends, you have not forgotten your departed one, because when they were here, they have done so much for us. How can we forget them at once? Therefore, we remember them, we appreciate their services. So we perform this religious service in honor of them, to remember them, good example to others, to show our gratitude. Petana puja cha kata ulara. Second thing, you have done highest service to your departed one, to release their suffering. Though they will be released, they will be happy after receiving your merit. That is the second duty that you have done. You can satisfy thinking you have done your duty. They will satisfy after receiving your merits. Next one, balancha bhikkhuna manuppadinna. You have offered this food to some religious people. Religious people are harmless people. They don't harm others, disturb others. They try to guide others, educate others, lead people to live peacefully without disturbing others. So you have supported them by providing this food to sustain, maintain their good health, to do better service, to carry on their noble mission, noble work. Third one, last one. Tumbhehi punyang pasutang nanappaka. You are also benefited because you accrued lot of merit. You also gain the merit. By transferring this merit to another person, you never reduce anything. Transference of merit is another meritorious deed. First, you gain merit by performing a religious service. When you transfer this merit to another person, you increase so many degrees, because that itself is a meritorious deed. Because some people ask, we here in this temple also some of our members ask this question. When we transfer this merit to others, don't you think that we reduce the real value of this our merit? See how childish they are. Now you realize the religious significance from the Buddhist point of view. So what we have been practicing is not mere traditional belief or imaginations, directly from the Buddha in his teaching in Tilokodda Sutra. How he explained.
Akakattā Brahmattā Devānāgā Mahidikā Puññantang Anumoditvā Ciram Rakkhantu Lokasasanam Ittavata Cammi Sampatam Puñña Sampadam Sabbe Devā Numodantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhiyā Devo Vasatu Kālena Sassa Sampatti Hetu Ca Pīto Bhavatu Loko Ca Rājā Bhavatu Dhammiko Idango jati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya.